So like I was saying, here's chapter 4. If you had looked through this packet, there's not a lot of places for notes. Yes, page 1 has some vocab words, but then page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5 are all practice. And then, yes, we get into some notes on 6 and 7, 8, 9 have some notes, but then practice, practice, practice. Mostly practice, some notes, and then practice, practice, practice. And yes, there's math. There is math this chapter. It's not much more than adding and subtracting. It gets a little weird, which is why I put a whole page of practice math in there. But once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad.
Cheese and rice.
So this chapter is definitely different than some of the other chapters we've done. I will say this, and I say this every year. In this chapter is the topic that I feel is the hardest thing we're going to do all year. I'll let you know when we get there.
Easy.
And you will all say, Mr. Ritz, this is easy. Why are you telling me this is hard? Mr. Ritz, this is easy. Why are you telling me this is hard? I'm going to toot my own horn here. I'm really good at teaching you this hard stuff. So, yeah.
I think she is.
I know I am. Okay? I'm really good. You want to know why? Want to know why I'm really good at teaching it?
Because you're not perfect, you're better than most.
Well, thank you, but that's not it. No, because actually, because it was one of the hardest things I ever did. And it was something I hadn't done again. When I took it in 8th grade, I had not done it again until I started teaching here when I was 30.
Read.
You know,
Where'd you
I
go to
was an
school?
honor student.
Where'd you go to school?
Eden. But anyway, the reason why I'm good at teaching it is because I had to teach it to myself and I had to make it make sense to me. So I'm really good at it. You take your AirPod out. So we'll get there, and I'll warn you when we get there. We're not there today. Today is not hard at all. So we're gonna start today with the vocab words and then learning about page 10 of your reference table. So have that ready to go. So grab your reference table while I'm getting set up. I'm talking to you, Carter. Grab your reference table.
I almost got you there.
No, you didn't.
No.
Well, maybe you would have if you didn't go like this.
I also saw it the whole time, but I wasn't teaching yet.
We're probably gonna end early, so we'll put it back.
We're definitely not gonna end early if you guys don't stop talking.
Wait, we end early today? 20?
All right.
A minute.
Okay, you got a reference table. We're gonna start with
Ogres.
ogres are like onions. Do you guys remember why ogres are like onions?
Because they smell.
They smell. Yeah, they have layers. Let's go ahead and see if we can. So it did this last period too.
Chuck say he was like an onion.
Oh,
Oh, listen, Spears one.
well, yeah, wait, I gave it to him. What is what? There is a phone up here if you're.
Reference table.
That's service phone.
All right, let's see. There we go. Full screen.
Not thinking it wants to full.
I need you to be quiet. Definitely not going full screen.
Not speaking English.
Oh, it did go full.
I don't know why that's not.
I know what? Maybe I could have decapitated an entire village and put their hands on a plate. Cut the name, cut open the bleeding, leave that fluid. Does that sound good to you? No, I really don't. For your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think. Example? Example? Okay, ogres are like onions. Yeah. No. Oh, they make a pack. No. Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white heads. No. Layer. Onions have layers. Ogre have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Everything's bad.
You know, not everybody like that. Everybody take that layer and do it. Everyone. Ogres are not like cake.
They're not sweet.
You know what, if everybody likes parfait. Have you ever met a person you say, hey, let me get some parfait, let me get one like a parfait. Parfait is a myth. No, you can't irritate a miniature piece of parfait. Ogres are like onions. End of story. Bye-bye. Parfait may be the most delicious thing on the whole damn planet. You know, I think that's the best young women. You have to kiss your son. I'm with you. When the word parfait comes out.
I love Shrek.
I don't.
Let's watch it.
We just did.
Smell like the whole movie.
All right.
The movie, not.
So just to ease you back into learning, it's playing in the background somewhere, hang on.
Yes, another Shrek.
More Shrek.
Is that Fiona?
I don't know, didn't watch it long enough.
Far, far away. Sarah, shut up.
All right,
They have layers.
so
They
yeah,
have layers.
no, it's not because they smell.
They smell.
All right,
No.
anyway, let's keep going. So why is the earth like an onion then, guys? Cause it smells,
Because they smell.
cause earth has layers,
Tastes
yeah.
good. Tastes good.
And earth does make you cry a little. Wait, actually, before we start with this,
Earth makes you.
do you guys
They're-
know any of the layers of the earth? You have learned them in the past. Kathy, you remember one? The atmosphere, that's not the earth itself, that is a layer around the earth, but we're gonna get into that too. Do you know any of the layers of the actual earth? Lithosphere is absolutely one of them. We talked about this earlier in the year. If you guys didn't remember that, that's okay. We'll get there later. Anybody remember any other layers? The core, you guys, think back to your olden days. Don't think about earth science that you've already learned this year. Think back to elementary school. You learned there was a core.
Atmosphere.
No, that's not part of the earth. That's around the earth.
Miss Ritz, you taught us that.
Yes, that's a layer around the
No,
earth.
it's not.
Yeah, remember it's a,
Crossosphere.
again, that's part of the atmosphere. The crust, the core, and you guys remember the one that's in between those two?
Outer core.
Well, there is an outer core, so there's an inner and an outer core, so I wasn't sure if you remembered that.
Or no.
So there's an inner core, an outer core, and a crust. What's between those? Do you remember that? It starts with an M.
Mantle.
Mantle.
She said
Yeah,
just.
now you, yeah.
You
Yeah,
did
I'm
not.
sorry, Sarah.
She said just, not Sarah.
Wait. So yes, back in the olden days of elementary school and middle school, you learned the crust, the mantle, and the core. You might have learned that the core was broken up into an inner and an outer core. Well, this year, we're gonna 10th grade that up a little bit. And that information wasn't wrong. It just didn't go into detail about the crust, the core, the mantle. And so this year, we're gonna go into a little bit more detail. We're gonna start with the lithosphere, which is not part of the ones you guys just mentioned. So at the very top, do you see that there is a line that's practically like right underneath the banner there where it says chapter 4?
This one?
Yeah, it's like too high up, in fact. That's
Yeah.
where lithosphere goes. So put lithosphere there. Yeah, way up there.
Where, in the second line or in the little?
In the one I pointed to.
Wait a second.
And then the two bullets go on the line, just to the right of that.
Solely
Really?
outer layer.
So the lithosphere is the solid outside layer. We are standing on the lithosphere. Okay, you're sitting.
I'm not touching
The
the ground.
lithosphere does include two other like sublayers, the crust and the rigid mantle. Okay, Carter, I get it. We will need to open up your reference table to page 10. We're not gonna look at it quite yet. We'll look at it in just a few minutes. I want to get through these 6 vocab words first.
Atmosphere is nice.
No, it's not.
4.
The atmosphere is not a layer of the earth.
Miss Ritz, you look like a storyteller on the lights over your face.
You do.
I did want to
Tell us yours.
show this apple because it's something you guys are more familiar with. So first of all, we have the whole apple there on the left. What did I do to get the picture of the apple on the
Cut it in
right?
half.
I cut it in half. I took a giant knife and cut it down. And you can see it, so it's like I cut the North Pole to the South Pole of the apple,
Oh, yeah.
and you get this picture. Well, that's kind of what I want you to picture with the earth. Now, obviously, I can't take a giant sword, and cut through the earth.
Yeah.
but if I could, you would see the earth similarly to how you see the apple. And it's kind of proportional. It's not perfect, but it gives you a good idea. The lithosphere is about as thick as the skin of the apple. Compared to the rest of the apple, how big's the skin?
Not big.
Pretty small, not very big at all. And that's how the lithosphere is too. We're gonna see exactly how big the lithosphere is in a couple of minutes.
The outer layer.
It's the outer layer. So now we're gonna go on to the crust. So what I want you to do on the short line on the left is write crust. And then in parentheses next to, like right on that same line or right below that line, put part of the lithosphere. So
That's
you've
on the
got,
next one.
so you've got the line where you're writing
No.
crust,
On the same one.
and then
Oh,
maybe like
yeah.
right underneath it, part
Yeah.
of lithosphere.
Yeah, that's on the.
Oh, that's the left, got it. And then over on the other line is where you're gonna write the notes.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know my left from my right any better than you guys.
Hey.
I know my left and my right. I don't know about you though.
Me too.
You two are being a little extra obnoxious today. Might have to move your seats farther away from each other.
No, we're sure.
Okay, so let's tone down the obnoxiousness.
What is that word?
This word is asthenosphere. It's the next vocab word we're going to do. So the crust is the rocky, solid shell that floats around on the asthenosphere. It does include the ocean floor. It should be right here somewhere.
Yep.
I do like to point out, so think about the ocean. You take a submarine down to the ocean floor. It is a solid rocky layer, just like any other layer. So there still is crust underneath the ocean. Mr. D's got it right now, he'll deliver it to you next. What do you need? Oh, man, that stinks.
I don't even know if I spelled it right. I'm sure.
A-S-T-H-E-N-O sphere. Yeah, it's asthenosphere.
As the no.
Asthenosphere. To me, it sounds like a word.
As the.
If you were to hold your tongue and like literally hold your tongue and say a word, that's what this word sounds like. Asthenosphere. Like it just sounds like you're just can't talk.
As the no sphere.
Anyway, speaking of the asthenosphere, that's a layer of the earth that we're now 10th grading it up for you. It's part of the mantle. So back in elementary school, you just learned there's the mantle, but there's fancy names for the mantle. Yep, still not working. So the asthenosphere is what they call the plastic mantle. It's made of molten material. You guys remember what molten means?
Rock.
What about it? Not just rock, it's
Melted.
melted rock. So I think the word plastic might be deceiving to some of you, because when you think of plastic, you think of like a plastic water bottle, like Carter's Gatorade bottle. Yeah, like a hard, solid plastic.
Is this on the other one?
Yes, so this is another, yeah, this is the next vocab word. But when they're saying asthenosphere being the plastic mantle, they really mean it's kind of like slime. Do you guys know, can you think back to your baby days?
I never.
Or last week when you made slime?
I
Because my
never-
kids just made slime over the break.
I never touched slime.
You didn't make slime?
I've never.
Did
touched-
your mom actually put her foot down and say no slime in this house? Of course you did,
No,
Sarah.
I never was interested. in
No, okay, then I want you to think about Jell-O. Have you ever had Jell-O?
it. That was gross.
Okay, but the point is, it's not like,
Like-
is slime like
Like
a liquid?
gooey.
It doesn't pour,
It's like gooey.
it's gooey, that gooey, thick, sticky, slimy layer. That's what the asthenosphere is. It's not quite a liquid, it's not like water, but it's not quite a solid, it's not like when you knock on your desk, solid. So it's somewhere in between there, it's a gooey layer. Everybody get a stenosphere down?
Yeah.
All right, the next layer is the stiffer mantle. So again, instead of just there being one mantle, now we're breaking the mantle up into categories. I think you can figure out by its name, stiffer mantle. We're now talking about a hard, solid object. This is located between the outer core and the asthenosphere. So Carter, do you add that to the next line? Sorry, it didn't look like you were with us.
Okay, as the nose.
As, then, oosphere. There's words I can't spell, very simple words, but this is one I can spell.
But it says, look, as the no sphere.
Yep. As, then, no sphere. Now you won't ever forget it.
As the no sphere.
You're gonna say it wrong, but unless I'm the one saying it wrong, I could be. You think I'm saying
It's just
it?
easier to like remember to spell that way.
As, then, I see the as, then, O sphere. That's what I see, as, then, O sphere. Everybody get this one?
But O is not a word.
I know.
That way, that's why we do the as the.
Okay, as the no sphere, all right. Good news is, guys, do you have to memorize how to spell this?
Yeah.
No, it's in your reference table, so we can stop talking about it now. Outer core,
Liquid.
liquid. Eric, black, what are you about to do?
It's got it.
Outer core, liquid, moves around the inner core, creates a magnetic field.
So magnetic.
Field,
The next one, inner core,
it is genius, Carter.
And boy, Dwayne.
and it's gotta be solid.
It is solid, you're right.
I'm so smart. That boy Dwayne.
You just said it by yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Good job.
Sir,
I guess I already did it this morning by saying I was really good at teaching the hard stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Alright.
I guess.
No, I'm really good at it.
And you say that you're not perfect, it's better than us.
That's pretty humbling, isn't it? I've never claimed to be perfect.
That is pretty
Just better.
Alright, everybody good with the inner core? I'm sorry, outer core, ready for inner core? Alright, inner core, solid, it's the Earth magnet.
Just better than most.
And then when you're done writing this, flip to page 10 of your reference table. I'm also going to turn on the lights, so get ready.
We flip to page 2.
10 of your reference table. No, we're not to page 2 quite yet.
I think I have to use the rest.
Me too.
I warned you, don't tell me that that hurts your eyes. Stop whining. Operator. Yeah, guys, I've used up all my patience with my own children these past 10 days. So I don't have much patience left for you guys, so.
Yeah, we see that. Don't be mean, Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah, I've lost my patience.
Everyone talks about how they didn't want to. And I don't know why.
Yeah, this
Losers, that's why. Nobody's ever said that.
that's a lie.
All right, all right, good. All right, everybody good? Yeah, that was just a couple lines. Let's go to this page here. So we're on page 10. Everybody got it in front of them? Page 10 of your packet, or not your packet. Page 10 of your reference table, not your packet. No, I said not. I know, I screwed up. So remember the picture of the apple 5 minutes ago that I showed you? So they cut the apple in half and you saw the inside view of the apple. Well, now this picture here is the Earth, except for instead of seeing the whole circle, you're just seeing a quarter of the Earth. So again, it's like I sliced the Earth in half, not the whole Earth, but then they're just showing you one little corner. But you can still see all the layers we just talked about. So you can still see where we've got the lithosphere, asthenosphere, stiffer mantle, outer core, and inner core. You can still see all those vocab words we just talked about. And now they're showing you a picture of exactly what they look like. Carter, hi. You with me? Okay. So here's that first word we did for vocab. Lithosphere. What was the notes we put down for lithosphere that we just took? Keep going. Look how they included. Does everybody see the word lithosphere? Why don't we start by pointing to the word lithosphere? So if you can't see exactly where it is on yours, you can see that it's right above the asthenosphere. Lithosphere. See the bracket?
Yeah.
See the words?
Crust, rigid mantle.
Crust and rigid mantle. What do you think they're trying to tell you?
The definition.
Basically the definition. They're saying the lithosphere is made out of the crust and rigid mantle. So do you have to memorize that? No, it's right there. You just have to remember where to look. Now the next part, which you're going to have to kind of squint to see on your own paper, let alone mine, see how the crust has a line coming off of it? So see the word crust? See the line coming off of it? What's that little line pointing to? It's, yeah, the bold black line. And then same with the rigid mantle. See what that one's pointing to? The white space underneath it. That's how small the crust and rigid mantle are compared to the whole rest of the earth. They're just, the crust is the thick black line. The rigid mantle is the thin white line. Together, even though they're still really skinny together, they make up the lithosphere. So what I want you to do, and I guess I did not instruct exactly what I want. We're sharing colored pencils. Actually, there's enough, not enough. I got the pencil.
Good.
That's to me.
My red one's broke.
Or playing with crayons.
These are colored pencils. Yeah. Here, deliver these over to Keith for me, would you?
Yeah, no problem.
You're the best. So what we're gonna do with these colored pencils is kind of color code each layer so it's a little bit easier to see. We're gonna actually skip color coding this first really thin layer. Okay, so what you may notice, I should have started this first. What you should notice with this reference table is there's 3 different parts. So we've got the top, which is the picture of the earth. So this is what the earth actually looks like. Then we have 2 separate graphs. We have a pressure graph and a temperature graph. And they're just telling you the temperature and the pressure in each one of these layers. We're going to break it apart here so you can see a little bit better. So we work with all 3 of these sections kind of at the same time. But for the graphs, let's start there. So we've got a pressure and a temperature graph. They share an x-axis. So they both have the same x-axis. It's depth. Do you guys know what depth means?
Good.
Yeah, what's that mean? It means how deep it is. It means if I was to dig a hole, how deep does my hole have to go down until I get to each one of these layers? You'll see that they're in kilometers. So this is 1,000 kilometers. That's pretty far. All the way up to 6,000 something kilometers.
If we got into kilometers, why couldn't we kilometers?
So because in science we use kilometers, so it's more universal, and it actually makes more sense than miles. In just like Celsius makes more sense than Fahrenheit. Like 0 is freezing, 100 is boiling. There's 100. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So it's just easier, rounder numbers. Anyway, moving on. Just because, Sarah, we'd like to make things difficult, that's really why. We're not there yet. So then on the x-axis here, we've got Celsius, or sorry, this is the y-axis, we got Celsius. And again, you can see those are some pretty big numbers. And for pressure, these are, they look small, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you read, it says millions of atmospheres. So it's a lot. Anyway, let's keep going. So we're gonna color code some of these layers. We don't need to do that first one because it's super thin. But what I did want to show you, see how these white and black lines, if you follow them down, see this dotted line here? In fact, let's color it. Grab a colored pencil. We're gonna color code just this little section here. So we're going right before the dotted line. That really thin layer. And go up to the actual earth picture too, and color code that. Please do not write so dark that you cannot, or don't color so dark that you can't see what's below. You're not doing the asthenosphere, we're doing the lithosphere, the very thin layer on the top. So just this little section right here, between the 0 and the dotted line. Basically, you're just doing a line. Yeah, then bring your color in black and white. And don't color so dark that you can't see below your line.
I can see it below.
Or under, I guess, so you can see under it.
Yeah.
This layer's so small. This layer's so small that you can't really read too much that's here. So I'm gonna kind of move on. We're gonna do the asthenosphere. So grab a different color. It doesn't matter what color you're using.
How many colors are we gonna use?
5.
Mine are all broke, because Keisha took all my different.
So we're gonna do the same thing with the asthenosphere. So you're gonna color this layer here that's labeled asthenosphere. It's like a grayish layer. Again, you color it whatever color you want, but notice how it fits in between these two dashed lines as you go down. They were nice enough on this diagram to show you the start and the finish for each layer. I know it's super fun to color, but let's keep going. So color kind of fast.
I gotta stay in between the lines. Gotta stay in between the lines.
So here, I'm gonna kind of teach while you're coloring. My question to you is, how deep is the bottom of the asthenosphere? So first of all, where's the bottom? Which dotted line represents the bottom of the asthenosphere? The second one, and how did you know? If you come up here, here's my pink layer, which is the asthenosphere. So this is the bottom of the asthenosphere. If you follow that down, there's that set of dotted lines.
Oh, 500.
Keep following that down. And my question is it 1,000?
No.
No. So then I heard 500. Is it halfway between the 0 and the?
It's like 750.
Yeah, it's like over a little. So it's not 500. I'm gonna go with 700. And I'm gonna actually label that so that I don't have to think about it again at a later date. Now that we've done the asthenosphere, let's grab another color. We're gonna do this stiffer mantle.
Oh, bro.
There's more color if you need a replacement, or you can go sharpener. Felicia being bad again.
Yeah. Right down my front.
Is this the biggest section we're gonna color?
The next one's decently sized as well, but this is the biggest. Just don't leave it in there too long, it'll break off. The operator. You with mine.
You guys didn't know how to work that one?
Yeah, I never gave you guys the lesson, it's tricky.
Video. Video.
What are we doing Thursday?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
Stop.
I'm not one of those kinds of people.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that organized.
Hold up. Are you doing the next one?
Yeah, you might as well color the next two while you're there. Actually, I think you're out of colors then. Aren't you?
No.
Then we gotta, if we color the next two, then we're out of colors.
I only got 4.
Did I not give you guys blue?
No, you,
I got blue.
you stole my blue.
Get up there, Carter. Okay,
That appears not there. That's not blue, right? Speed it up.
I don't know if they all got
Alright.
blues or not.
I didn't get a blue, Miss Ritz.
Your teacher.
Yeah, she is. Just kidding, Miss Ritz.
I think I'm not.
She's not perfect, she's just better than us.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna
There
use
is a
that.
difference when you color with
That's
them.
gonna be my senior quote. I'm not perfect, just better than most.
I would appreciate sharing my quotes with you.
Do you have any other informational quotes? Miss Ritz, do you have any other inspirational quotes?
You wanna hear a quote that a senior used this year?
Probably not.
No, it's actually pretty funny. It's, I like my coffee how I like my woman. I don't like coffee.
There you go.
That's D. Matus. Yeah, do you have that Matus there?
Okay, moving on.
We don't use that word, ma'am.
That's definitely going to the office,
Anyway,
definitely going right to January.
They like the, like. Definitely gonna have to. Yep, I'm calling Mr. Ganza tomorrow anyway.
you guys are gonna have homework, so we need to keep moving here.
No, we're not.
Yeah, you are. So how about this? What is the temperature at the boundary between the inner core and outer core? What is the temperature? First of all, what's the boundary mean?
It's the
Line.
line that separates
Okay, it's
it.
the line that separates, like the boundary between my room and Mr. Job's room is the wall.
5,100.
So here's the boundary between the inner core and the outer core. I want to read the temperature. So then I go to the black line, not the depth. So if you were thinking it was
Right.
5,100 or so, that's the depth.
Not
We need a
bad.
blue.
You use whatever color you want. If I wanted the temperature, I go to this black line here, read over. So maybe like 6,200 or so.
No.
Same with the pressure. You go to the black line, you read over. I have one thing I need to do in the next 2 minutes. And it's on the temperature graph. What's up with the dotted line that says melting point? What does melting point mean? It's the temperature at which something starts to melt. What temperature did the snow start melting?
32.
32 Fahrenheit, so 0 Celsius. What temperature does the snow start freezing?
0.
So they're pretty much interchangeable. I just wanted to show you that. So if we're warmer than the melting point, it's going to melt into a liquid. So I want to talk about this layer here, the stiffer mantle. We've got the actual interior temperature, that's the black line, and then the dotted line. So I know some of you are still coloring, but this is a question on the homework, so you might want to pay attention. We've got the black solid line that's lower than the melting point. What would that mean for snow if the actual temperature was lower than the melting point? What would happen to the snow if the actual temperature was lower than the melting point? It would probably what? Wouldn't melt, it would stay solid. So has this layer melted?
No.
No, because the actual temperature is colder than the melting point. But take a look over at the inner core. What do you see there in this blue layer for me? The actual temperature is higher than the melting point. So what happens to snow when the actual temperature is higher?
No.
It melts. So what happens to this layer when the actual temperature is high? It melted. And what is the inner core?
No.
It's a liquid. So you do have homework.
Inner core is a liquid.
The inner core is liquid, yep.
We already went over this.
Because the actual temperature is warmer than the melting point. You guys do have homework. It's page 3. There are 17 questions. We just answered a couple of them. They all use your reference table that we just colored. You absolutely need
17.
your color, reference table to answer these.